Hi, in this video we are going to look at how to create a simple architecture using IoT devices in the Cisco Packet Tracer. So first we are going to create a new file. And what we need to do here is basically select the specific IoT devices. For example, if you click on this home icon here, then you can see the different IoT devices that are available. For example, we have the garage door, and you can see the output right here and the bottom in terms of whatever specific IoT device we choose. So here you have garage door, we have smart light, we have a motion detector, we have here webcam, then we have a smoke detector, we have carbon dioxide detector, carbon monoxide detector, home speakers, Bluetooth speaker, and so on. So these are some of the IoT enabled devices that are part of the IoT components in Cisco Packet Tracer. On the industrial or smart city, you can see the smart city items. For example, you have the ceiling fan. This one is basically old car which can be used for producing smoke. If you're going to test carbon dioxide, carbon monoxide, or if you want to trip a fire alarm for a sprinkler system, so it becomes handy at that point. These are street lamps, wind detector, and so on. Then you have industrial components here, and you can see the air conditioning system, battery, carbon and carbon dioxide, monoxide detectors. You got a fire monitor. You have a fire sprinkler system. You have humidifier, furnace, RFID card, temperature monitor, smart LED, among other things. So these are the items that we are going to use. So first we begin with the home IoT components. So first we want to learn how to create a simple architecture where we control a garage door. So we're going to drag and drop a garage door. So that's our IoT device that we want to control. So to do that, we also need first among the computers, we need a server that we are going to use as our IoT registration server. We will also need a PC or a laptop so that the user can control the garage door opening and closing. Just you see the case of Nest or similar real world IoT applications. So we also need a switch. So this one is going to be fairly simple architecture so that you can understand the architectural components first before we make it more complex. So we are just going to have a home switch which will be used for connecting all of these devices. So we have the garage door, we have the switch, and we have the laptop. So let's begin with the server first. We click on the server, and you can see the server dialog open up. You go to config, and then you go have service. So we go under service. First thing we do is that we turn the IoT registration server on so that it becomes active in terms of providing the IoT registration server service to our IoT component. So that has to be done first. Then we have to go and configure the fast Ethernet port. In this case, we are going to use static IP address. So in this case, we go to fast Ethernet, and we are going to use static IP address. Later, we'll use DHCP when we have many more components. So first, what we do is basically enter a IP address. So it's going to be 155.25.1.250. That's going to be the IP address for the server. Subnet mask is going to be 255.255.0. It's something that we have already learned in earlier part of the semester. Once we have done the fast Ethernet interface, we are going to close this so the configuration is saved. One other thing we need to do also is that we are going to call this registration server. So we are going to call this IoT registration server. So we know that's what service we're looking at this time. I'm going to save this as a file in my sample. So let's do that here. So we're going to go over here and we're going to create a folder on desktop, and I'm going to call this SM673 IoT examples, and within that folder I'm going to save the .pkt file. So we're going to call this garage door IoT example 1, and I'm going to save this so that I can retrieve that later. So it's been saved. Next, what we do is connect the devices. To do that, we select the cable connection over here. We select this black connection or cable first, second, third from the left. We select that, and we are going to connect the server. We select fast Ethernet port and connect to the switch. This switch has about 24 or so ports. We will use gigabit Ethernet here. And then we are going to connect the laptop, use fast Ethernet, and connect with the gigabit Ethernet as well. Cable and between these two devices. So this is our switch here. And then we are going to connect the garage door, and we're going to select fast Ethernet. You can see there are two ports here, fast Ethernet and D0. Fast Ethernet obviously is for connecting to the Ethernet network. D0 is if you're going to use a electronic controller board. In that case, you're going to use D0. So in this case, you're just going to use fast Ethernet. So you're going to connect from here and select one of the available ports. So we are done connecting the devices. We are going to press this to make sure that the connections are complete. And we got green arrows all over the place, so there is nothing wrong with the network. So first, what we need to do is configure the registration server. We have not done that completely yet. We just said we have a registration server, but we need to make sure that that we have created an account on the registration server. To do that, what we do is go to desktop. Before we do that, make sure you note the IP address of the server. You will need that to connect to the servers 155.25.1.250. Please write this down somewhere when you actually practice this example on your own. So you go to desktop, we select web browser. So we are in web browser, and of course we are on the IoT registration server, and we are trying to connect to the registration server IoT service using the browser on the registration server. So we are going to use HTTPS because we want a secure connection, and we are going to specify the IP address, which is 155.25.1.250, and then connect with the service. So the registration server, IoT registration server, wants us to put in the username password, but we don't have an account yet. So we go down over here, sign up now, click on it, and we're going to provide the username is going to be admin. We're going to keep this simple, and password is also going to be admin. And let me make sure that I typed it correctly, admin. And then we click create to create the admin account on the registration server. And you should see something like this, the server IP address /home.html. So we are ready to move forward with this. So we are going to close this server, and we are now going to go to the garage door. And we open the garage door, and you can read the different characteristics of the garage door. So first, what we do is we go to config, and we select fast Ethernet first. and we're going to use static IP address. So we are going to use the same subnet, same network. So it's going to be 155.25.1 subnet. It's a garage door device, so we're going to use one of the lower numbers, so let's call it 5. So the IP address for the garage door is going to be 155.25.1.5, and the subnet mask has to be the correct one, which is going to be 255.255.255.0. And so we have entered the IP address and the subnet mask for the garage door, this device here. We need to close this so that the IP address configuration and the subnet mask will be saved by the CPT. Don't forget this step. So just close it. Now it has saved. We then click back again on the garage door, and you can go back and see that it has saved the IP configuration. So we click on it to get this interface where we are able to configure the server. Don't worry about gateway, don't worry about IP version 6. Just scroll down all the way and you can see IoT server. So this device, IoT device, needs to communicate with the IoT server. So we have two options, home gateway and remote server. In our example, we're going to use a remote server to make it more realistic, because down the road we'll be designing a office environment IoT system, as well as smart city and other types of IoT system down the road. So I want to make sure that we start off with a more generic solution. So we need to specify the server address, which is going to be the server IP address, which is 155.25.1.250. And here we need the username, and username for logging into the server, which is admin. Username, password is also admin, so admin. And once we have done that, we can click connect to see if we can connect to the server. So we are going to make this garage door talk with the IoT registration server. So you can see that if you see that from connect we have gone to refresh, that means the connection is successful. If you see that you click on connect and it says connecting and comes back to connect, that means the IoT device cannot communicate with the server. If that happens, make sure you double check your server IP address both in the IoT registration server as well as in your IoT device, and make sure your username passwords are also correct. So our IoT device is able to communicate with the registration server. So we're going to close this. So this part is done. We're going to save our simple architecture. Now what we want to do is that go into the IoT registration server to see if we can see the garage door, to make sure that the communication actually happens. So we are going to go to web browser, but there is also another option that we can look at later on. One is let's look at the web browser first, and I'll talk about the other option of looking at the IoT device a bit later. So here we are going to use HTTPS for security. It's a secure communication. And then we're going to specify the IP address, which is 155.25.1.250. And we click go, and it will ask for username password, which will be admin and admin. And we are going to sign into the server, and you can see that it shows the IoT device that already has been registered with the registration server, and you can see it's that garage door right here that we're looking at. So you can open this, click on it, and you can see on, and that means the garage door is closed. We can use this switch over here to open and close the garage door. So if I click on it once, you can see that the garage door is now open, and green is open and red is closed. So again, the garage door is closed. Green is open and it's closed. So you can see that we can control the garage door from our registration server interface right here. So everything looks good so far. We're going to close this, save it. So one other thing we'd like to see is that can we control the garage door from the laptop, which would be the typical case. Either we could have used access point here to make this a wireless connection, but that's a simple step that all of you can do, and that's not the focus of this discussion. So we are going to configure the laptop so we can control the garage door. So we go into the laptop, and we need to configure the laptop. We go into config, and we go into fast Ethernet. and we need to provide an IP address to the laptop so it can connect over the network. So it's going to be 155.25.1 subnet, same IP address, and we're going to specify 10 as being the IP address for the subnet mask. Sorry, it's for the computers. And next, what we do is specify the subnet mask 255.0. This you already know. And once you have done that, we are going to close this dialog and save it. And we can see that the IP address 155.25.1.10 has been specified for the laptop. We can also check the IP address for this one, which is 155.251.5, and we can also check the IP address for the server, which is 155.25.1.250. And /24 basically means the 24 bits has been reserved for the network part of the IP address. We have already discussed that in the first part of the semester. And that's basically translation of your 255.255.255.0 subnet mask. Once you have done that, we need to go into the laptop, so we can control the garage door. See if we can do that. So what we do is basically go into desktop, scroll down. We have two IoT apps already installed. One is IoT Monitor and IoT IDE. We are going to use IoT Monitor to see if we can connect through the registration server and control the garage door, which would be a typical application in a Nest type of situation. So we click on this IoT Monitor, and it initially presents the IoT server address, which is 192.168. We are not going to use that. That's the default. We're going to use our own IP address for our own registration server, which is 155.25.1.250. And admin is the username and password, which is fine. We are going to now log into the registration server using this IoT Monitor app. And we can see the after logging in, we can see the IoT device, and we can click open, and you can see the garage door is closed. That's why it's showing red. Let's see if we can open it. So, and we are here on the laptop. You can see we're on laptop 0. So you're going to click on it, and we can control the garage door from the laptop. So this is similar to a Nest application. So you can open and close the garage door from the laptop. So that's the basic architecture for a IoT device where we can control the garage door IoT device using our laptop. We are just going to write a note over here. So let's find a note icon. I'm going to place a note over here saying that IoT architecture example for garage door. So that's going to be the title of this this example here. My suggestion is please follow this video to complete this exercise. This is a practice exercise, and pretty soon I'll be posting assignments based on these lectures. Thanks so much.